Yo,
All
we
right,
are back.
we're here. We're here. Your friends at the Section 8 Wrestling Podcast. I realized we didn't plug that
Nope,
on the
sure
last
did.
one. That's all right.
Yeah,
We're still working it out. Still
working
working
it
it
out.
out. We're like we pressed stop and we had a little break and I was like, we didn't say Section 8 Wrestling Podcast once in that whole
Nope,
thing.
but that is us. We are the Section 8 Wrestling Podcast.
Here we are. I am Akili.
I am Billiam.
And today we are just going to do a little quick, just a little something to put our drop in the bucket for some wrestling because we're new to the podcast game. We're new to jumping out there, and a lot of y'alls don't really know a whole lot about us other than people that know us. So we figured we just throw y'all some tidbits. And today we figured we talk about our top three, top five favorite wrestlers in the game, past and present, and maybe future. Who knows? So we're just gonna go ahead and do all that. I'll go ahead and turn it over to you, my guy. Who is number one? I don't know if you want to go bottom to top, but
You
who's
know,
who's
I didn't really make a list. It's not really in any particular order. It's just the guys that I
all good?
just guys I fell in love with and make me want to watch this even more. So,
Good.
uh, let's see. Let's go. I'm gonna start. Jeff Hardy. I'm gonna start with him. I was a fan of the Hardy Boys, Team Extreme, including Lita. I mean, I've been a fan of Lita since she was with S.A. Rios. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the only reason I'm happy S.A. Rios was around because he brought us Lita.
That's a name I've not heard.
Anyway, of the two brothers, Matt Hardy, phenomenal technical wrestler, but Jeff Hardy was my guy. He was always the one, as they like to say back, just reaching for that brass ring, just ever so close to getting that brass ring. And when he did, I damn near cried, like just because he was so close to winning so many times, and he's always the fan favorite, always the most exciting. Still blows my mind that up until that point he'd never broken a bone in the ring. Seeing the
Hmm.
guy flip around, just incredible. So my first dude is Jeff Hardy.
Mad props to Jeff Hardy. Rocking the background, all good there.
I didn't even notice.
It's
I
all
forgot
good.
that was the background.
I thought that. I mean, hey, you know what? That was intentional. Good plug, my friend.
Totally.
Yeah. You every time you always just had that feeling of like every time Jeff Hardy was coming out to the ring, you're just like, well, what crazy thing is he going to do this time? And you knew it was going to be something breathtaking. So yeah, really good pick to have on your list. I will start with the dude who's on the shirt.
Well, I
We'll
mean,
go ahead and start with the dead man. I remember being super young and just seeing this just tall, brooding guy with this. By the time I started watching him, it was Brother Love was his first manager. So way back in the Brother Love days, I was just like, man, who's this? Who's this tall, just dark death dude? Doesn't really talk and blah 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 blah. And then once he transitioned into having Paul Bearer, I just thought the whole for something that was, very real at the time to me, where I was like, oh,
absolutely.
real, this is great. He brought this whole next level of like mysticism, and all of a sudden wrestlers probably had powers and were like kind of invincible. And here's this dead man who came from Death Valley who could be buried alive, and then just come back and be reincarnated. And so I just thought the whole mystique and just the way he moved in the ring, where he get hit, go down, sit right back up, just everything about the Undertaker fascinated me. Down to he helped shape my love for what the power of a really good entrance can do. For someone who literally just walks down to the fucking ring
Yep.
real slow, raises his arms real slow, rolls his eye back. You describe that to someone, and you're like, "What's exciting about that?" But then you watch him do it,
It's
and
everything.
it's so amazing. So, Mark Calloway, the Dead Man, Undertaker, number one on my list for sure. My absolute favorite wrestler.
He legit scared me as a kid. Like I didn't want to go to shows back in the day because I was scared of the Undertaker and Kane. Like it was like just that, especially back when he was Ministry of Darkness Taker,
His
and
ministry phase, man. Yeah,
that was just it was terrifying.
yeah.
It's like I didn't know what this guy was capable of. I still wasn't sure if wrestling was real or not. I
Yeah.
just no man, just nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Like I was
But I
legit.
couldn't stop watching.
No, because it's. I mean, that's what it's there for. The mystique, bro. Like I legit was going to flip over a table. I was not at my house. I would have flipped the table over had I been at my house. I
Mm.
was at my buddy Andre's house. Shout out to him, but was legit upset when Brock Lesnar broke the streak.
I
I
was
thought the
I was
streak.
at my house. I remember exactly where it was.
I thought the streak was gonna. I was like, if there's one thing, yeah, it might turn into a running joke. Yeah, it might be kind of dumb. Yeah, it might turn into a thing where we know he's gonna win every year. But still,
Yeah,
and really, of all the people to do it,
all the people.
Brock Lesnar. But
Part timer, but that's
at the time, made sense. At the time, I don't even really know if I can say that, but
no,
I get it for the, I get it, I get it.
that's okay. You don't. I don't get it. So you don't get it. It's
You
fine.
don't pay a dude that much and make a big deal about him coming back and not have him do something. Start having him do your next level stuff. He beats Undertaker. He becomes the champ. Like Vince was always Vince always wanted Brock Lesnar to be that dude, and it just didn't work out that way because Brock was like, I want to go do other shit. So once Brock came back, Vince was like, all right, all that shit I wanted to do
Whatever you
before,
want.
I'm gonna just do it now.
Yep.
So yeah, so I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Who's next for you?
Next for me is not necessarily in this form, although I absolutely love it. The final boss. Like I mean, how can you not be a Rock fan?
Brock's second on my list, so we can both just
Let's just
talk
chat it
about
up. Yep.
talk about good old Dwayne. Yeah, man.
Man, I mean, I would say ever since Rocky Maivia, but that'd be a lie. But I do remember him in Survivor Series in that outfit, and it's like, boy, that this guy, all right, cool. Like everybody else was like, this guy, all right, Intercontinental Champion, okay, strange, fine, whatever. But then he joins up and turns into The Rock, and people hate him. He's like, fine, hate me, I don't care. Look how great I am. Raises the eyebrow and just wins titles. That's what he does. One of the best talkers ever, ever. Masterclass. Just watch old promos of The Rock.
In
If
a
you can put
world
your mouth
where
on
we were,
anything and make it relevant.
yeah, in a world where we were growing up, in a world where we were growing up watching people like Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man cut, cutting promos.
Him with the crop.
Yeah,
Hogan.
running me over with lawnmowers and just all a bunch of shit. Um, Young nation domination rock when he decided to just be like, well, let me just fucking fuck y'all, I'm the Rock, and it's I was, just being like, yo,
Yeah.
when I felt like early on it was like, hey, Stone Cold, you have to like him, right? He's the rebel, and I was like, yeah, but homie dude over here is talking his shit, like coming out in the shirts, and there was a $4,000 shirt, the Versace shirt, and blah blah blah. I was just like, bruh, raising an eyebrow. His move is dropping an elbow. I'm like, who is this
I
dude?
mean, the man sold canned ravioli with a open button-up shirt.
Who is
Like
this dude? Like
he could do everything. He could do it all. And he did.
going to school and cutting people off with it doesn't matter what you say.
Ugh.
Like, oh my
Know your
lord.
role and shut your mouth.
Like Billiam said, masterclass. One of my favorite promos of all time is from The Rock when he gets at Goldberg, and it's the whole Goldberg, I'm not next. You're next. You whisker biscuit, bald headed bitch. Like I have that whole monologue. I have that whole one memorized because that was
Uh,
so crazy. But yes, let's fast forward to I think after Hollywood Rock, this is his best heel form. Final boss.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much combined all of the elements from his past iterations
He's
with
basically
Elvis.
right with Elvis fashion sense. He's basically what people think of Dwayne Johnson in
Mhm.
Hollywood right now. Like he's basically just that. He's like, people think I'm this, so I'm just gonna be that. That's why
Right.
it works so well because you're just like
And
you see the Rock on wrestling, then you just go watch an interview with the Rock. You're kind of like, Yeah, that could be said.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
He's like, you want the Rock? Here, this is the Rock.
And
This is it. This is
I love the
you
way the
think this is me?
game,
Here you
yeah,
go. I'll give it to
yeah,
you.
absolutely. And I love the way the game put it to where it was basically he went from Rocky, there's basically eras of the Rock. You have the Rocky Maivia phase, you have the Nation of Domination phase, the Brahma Bull phase, the Great One phase, Hollywood phase, um, once in a lifetime phase, and now he's in final boss form. So
Once
it's
in a lifetime that happened twice.
right, right, right. I love Dwayne Johnson, bro. Dwayne Johnson makes wrestling great.
Absolutely.
No one, you still just, no one, you if you when you go from a quiet arena to just if you smell like you get about that far and just an explosion
Yeah.
happens. Um,
I remember when we were WrestleMania 31 and Stephanie and Triple H were in the ring talking about attendance or whatever, and then all of a sudden you hear that if you smell, and that was the first time I'd ever seen him live. I'd never seen The Rock live, so when he came out, I shed a tear, and my wife gave me the weirdest look, and I was like, "Oh, don't worry about me, I'm fine."
we have a whole possibly 2 40-minute sessions that we can do specifically about WrestleMania 31, bro. Especially because we were there. Like, I would love to do just a talk, and then we can go back and just do a watch and
Absolutely.
talk about our reactions in real time.
Oh,
Because
that'd be fun.
that was my first time seeing all everybody on the list that I'm about to explain, except for like no, did we see Goldberg that night?
No.
That was the only person on my list that I did not see. I got to see everybody else that's on my list in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else from WCW was there, but Goldberg.
Yeah. So
Anyway, oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
no. So juiced. That
No,
was
just
so juiced. Yeah.
moving
WrestleMania.
on. So I was gonna say moving on to the next. I'm gonna Chris Jericho, hands down.
We want to talk about talkers, bruh.
Yeah.
I remember it was both you and shout out to my boy Andrew Williams have said the same thing that like there's really only one person, especially at a certain time, that could stand there with The Rock and actually go toe to toe. And that person at one point was Chris Jericho. Absolutely.
Yeah. That was why he was the one that interrupted The Rock. Nobody else would have been able to cut off The Rock in 1999 mid promo. He was untouchable then,
Correct.
but Jericho did it.
Correct.
He stood toe to toe with him, and he's done it
Raw.
more than once.
Let me tell y'all real quick for the people out there. I'm 41. Remind me how old you are, Billy. If you don't want to give your age, that's fine. But
No, it's fine. I'll be 38 in a few months. So
so,
we're
so
three years apart. So
So I'm just gonna say this for the young. We there is a certain generation gap. There's a lot of people y'all born that did not that had you can go back and watch Attitude Era. You can go back and watch clips and highlights and things like that. What y'all know as Seth freaking Rollins as the Monday Night Messiah,
huh,
all the innovator, all that you see him doing, Chris Jericho.
Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Chris Jericho. When you have Monday Night Messiah is basically just Raw is Jericho. Like,
Absolutely.
from the Jesus posing to the outfits to just bruh. Modern day Chris Jericho is Seth Rollins. You don't get Seth Rollins without Y2J.
Man, I've never even thought about that until you just said that. I was like, it's very true.
I've been sitting here thinking like, who does Seth Rollins remind me of? Who in our time would we say this is who this is? And for a while, I was like, I was thinking Shawn Michaels, but the more I kept thinking about, it, I was like, bruh, he's Chris Jericho. He's this version's Chris Jericho.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And it's one of his best matches in my opinion, Chris Jericho's. WrestleMania 2 yeah, WrestleMania 2000. It was a triple threat match. It was Kurt Angle, Chris Jericho, and Chris Benoit. And that's when Kurt Angle was the Euro Continental Champion and defended both belts in a 2 out of 3 falls and ended up losing both belts. But just the matches those three put on were just
yeah,
clinics.
Yeah.
They were absolutely insane.
Wall of Jericho was dope. And Chris, another person who evolved. I remember I wasn't too keen when he came back with short hair. I was like, but was just able to do that. Then
Absolutely.
he became corporate Jericho. Like that was an interesting time.
Oh, when you wore the suits and everything?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was actually my very first live wrestling show, well, WWE show. I sat second row ringside when they came to Oakland, and that was the night when Chris Jericho threw Shawn Michaels through the Jeritron 3000, and he turned heel. I tried. I was so close. I almost got a piece of that TV. Like you can go back in the replay and see like me and my buddies sitting
Oh,
right there.
wow.
But like, so I seeing Chris Jericho turn heel, especially on Shawn Michaels. I mean, again, but that was 19, WrestleMania 19, one of the best matches of all time.
Great match at WrestleMania.
Uh,
Yeah.
so it's the second time I guess he turned on Shawn Michaels, but that's when he turned heel and went all corporate suits, full Nick Bockwinkel style, big words. He's like, I don't care what you plebes think, blah blah blah. Like it was Pete Chris Jericho. That's when they gave him the world title,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
he earned it. The only
He
thing he never did was win the Royal Rumble.
was he the very first undisputed WWE champion?
He beat The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same night, my dude.
Put some respect on Chris Jericho's name, y'all. And
He
even
also is the reason we got Money in the Bank. He came up with the Money in the Bank concept as well,
right. That's right. That's right.
and
Yeah.
they never let him win it. But
No.
the concept was his.
And fast forward to we were talking about the other day. I do believe that a big reason why you get a lot more crowd singing songs now, cats of songs, is what Jericho continued to just kind of do. He went to
Judas
AEW.
Judas just
Um,
blew up in the arenas, especially because AEW was up and coming, and
yeah.
that was the it thing. That was the it wrestling brand, and just from there on, just everybody started singing big songs for people they love.
Do you think Jericho makes one more run and comes back? I think he does. I
I
think
do
he
too.
makes one more, like when he's like, I got a year or two left in me. When he knows it, he's like, I think he comes back. I think his farewell tour is in the WWE,
And
especially
that's when he'll be
Trips
in the Hall
running
of
shit
Fame.
now. Like, yeah, especially with Trips running shit now, bro. Like, Chris Jericho needs to have a better send off with the WWE, bro.
I think he'll get one more. I think they'll give him the John Cena treatment, give him one more run, finally give him that Royal Rumble win he's never had, because that's the only thing he's
Well, they still have
missing
to give
there.
Punk one, man.
That too,
Gotta let Punk win,
that could
man.
happen. And then they'll put him in the Hall of Fame where he
Yeah,
belongs.
yeah, absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
hope he still has that list that's on the
You
paper,
just
and they put that in the Hall of Fame.
move one, arm, move one, neck breaker, move two, arm bar. Yeah, love the list. Jericho's a good one, bro. And talk about entrances. Uh,
Countdown.
his entrance was always great. When he started coming back with the glittery jacket and the silence, and then the music kicked in. And super shout out because apparently you let him tell it. He got that from Michael Jackson, where he was like basically like Mike goes out there and stands there with no music and gets this applaud. So he's like, so I'm one to go out there, stand there, break out the pose, and just do my thing. And I was like, yep, that it works for you,
I
my
could
guy.
see that because
Yeah.
he's a rock star. So
Mm-hmm. Like you say you hit me too. One of his best moments where he just comes back, he's just like, yeah, yeah. He doesn't say anything. He's like, yeah, yeah, baby.
oh yeah, he's that's when he's wearing like the disco ball looking vest, shakes the camera, and
Yeah,
like
yeah, baby.
and then
And
leaves.
leaves. And that's it. That was a Jericho
That was
appearance.
his comeback. Like, all right. That was the Save Us, Chris Jericho. He came back for like a month and didn't say a word
Yeah,
besides, yeah, I
yeah,
want
he
to
just
do that.
brilliant. Well done. Um, I'll jump to
Please.
next on my list. One Randall Kennedy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Evolution was a thing. I remember looking at the four people in Evolution and going, that dude there, like when they say Evolution, that dude is the truth. I didn't think Batista was going to make it. No shout out to Batista. I didn't think he was going to become what he became.
Yeah.
Trips and Ric Flair were already there. So Randy Orton was from day one. He was always phenomenal for me to watch. I loved everything about him. He hates his original music. I thought it worked for
for what he was.
what came after Evolution, especially with his pose.
Mm-hmm.
The sparks come down
Would have
behind him.
fallen. Oh yeah, it's good.
But
It's just
when
pretty.
yeah, no, it was phenomenal. When he my favorite version of Randall Kennedy though is when he was feuding with Trips around WrestleMania 25 and he was
He's bald.
just full
Yeah.
into his I'm the snake. I'm that dude. Like I don't like this cat.
Yeah.
Like
That was when he kicked all the McMahons in the head. That was when
in the
he
head,
beat
he was
Stephanie
yeah.
after he punted her and Triple H was handcuffed to the bottom rope and
Hmm?
came down just slowly and just softs his little kiss. I'm like, oh my God. He's dark.
Frank Jordan, jumping back a little bit to his Legend Killer phase, he was the first person I got nervous when he fought Taker. When Taker goes for the choke slam and he turns it into the RKO, I thought that was it. I
I
thought they
mean,
were gonna.
right there, that was
I
that was
thought the
the
stamp of
epitome
the
of out of
Legend Killer
nowhere.
was gonna be like boom, boom, boom. I'm beating Taker at WrestleMania. This is how I be. This is how I level up.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm glad that wasn't the case.
Nope.
But that was I still go back and watch it, and I still get that feeling when he hits that RKO. The whole building just goes like, "Oh shit, Taker just lost." He
Yeah,
just lost.
I think that was one of the RKOs that sparked the literal out of nowhere.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And you talk about some great iterations a move being turned into reverse.
mhm.
Uh yeah, the RKO can come out of nowhere. It's reversed a shooting star splash. It's reversed a curb stomp.
I
It's
can watch videos all day long.
yeah, it just
Just
it has its own meme where people write RKO into like people falling downstairs, just like oh out of nowhere, and
those are great.
people do
Yeah,
it to
yeah.
people in swimming. Like RKO became that move that cats used to do, like oh I'm gonna do a fake stunner, oh, no. Like people just out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Right. Out of nowhere. It's like gone elsewhere and people outside of wrestling know like out of nowhere. They've heard that term somewhere before. They may not know where, but they've heard that term before. Just out of nowhere, it's just everywhere now, and it's because Randy Orton's RKO just out of nowhere.
I think Michael Cole said it real best recently on the recent game. He was just like from legend killer to a legend, fucking Rand RKO.
That's good.
He's that guy. I love Randy Orton.
Good.
Yeah, who's next on your list?
Well, the other guy that was on my list was actually the guy that's on my t-shirt, Mr. Chick Magnet Punk, which is
One of
what
the
C stands
best
for.
in the
He
world.
he tried to play it off as Chicago made, but it's Chick Magnet. That's what CM stands for. So that yeah, CM Punk. I mean, literal. I mean, best in the world. He's done it all. Again, minus Royal Rumble. Hasn't done that yet, but he'll
Right.
get there. I believe he will. Um, his whole run with the Straight Edge Society, that whole thing. I mean, the pipe bomb. Don't get me started wearing a Stone Cold Steve Austin shirt and just talking absolute truth. I
Yeah.
mean, that's never been done before. They've never let anybody break the fourth wall like that before, and it's just like insane.
In a time when it wasn't necessarily at the height of my I'm not fucking with WWE because of John Cena. When one of the times it jumped back onto my radar was during the CM Punk Cena feud, where
Oh
Punk said,
yeah.
I'm going to leave with this championship.
Mhm. And he
Like,
did.
I'm out of here. That match in Chicago is phenomenal. Just the whole thing. If Punk loses, we riot. Um,
And then he won. And then he went home and then he took a picture of his belt in the refrigerator.
you want to talk about a dude who's really good at ruffling your feathers, who's really good at making you feel like he is above you. You let Phil talk to somebody, and he can
And
do
he
it.
and
He
he
can
could
do
do
it.
it all like off the top of his head. Because look what he did that promo a few weeks ago on Raw, where he's like, just yell out a name. Give me a name.
Give me
And
an name.
went.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Rock. Fine. We'll start with Rock. You bald fraud. Both
Like,
you, Cena, both of you, bald frauds. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Phil's another really great talker. When why I love that feud with Cena, you get two dudes like that who are just like, both of you, here's some mics. Go talk about each other.
yeah. And I've been fortunate enough to be some of his best matches because they were against one of them was Jeff Hardy. I was at SummerSlam 2000. Oh shit, I think it was 2009 when it was in LA, and Jeff Hardy faced CM Punk in a ladder match for the title, which was dope. That was when DX returned with the tank. Uh, Jericho and Rey Mysterio Intercontinental belt, I think. Great show. Anyway, so I saw that match for Punk. Phenomenal. I've seen Punk in a lot of matches. Great. Oh, and that was when Undertaker returned. So I got to see an Undertaker return too, which was cool.
Nice.
I was also at the SummerSlam 2 years later with Punk and Cena when it was champion versus champion. That is probably the loudest pop live I have ever heard, been a part of when CM Punk came out. The just because the music, whole personality hits, people were cheering. Just it was incredible just to be part of something like that.
Another dude to me who has a real simple entrance, but has turned it into something really great. It's very methodical in all of its steps, from the kneel down, the drawing, clobbering time, backing up with the pose when it had best in the world on the back of the shirt, getting to the thing, best in the world. Like he's just really good at crowd control. And anytime he's in the any organization he goes into, he stirs a pot. That's I
Absolutely.
love I love that CM Punk is back at the time that he's back, because it's a time to stir pot. It's really good. Phil Brooks is one of the best in the world at this shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah, fun to watch.
yeah, always, in my opinion, always fun to watch. Um, Speaking of one of the best in the world, I'll talk about see it's like 10 minutes. Okay. I'll keep it super. I'll really quickly I'll do Goldberg, and then I'll get to my last guy. Real quickly, I'll do Goldberg.
Next, I'm done. So go.
Okay, perfect. Not like perfect or done, but like cool. But
Time to go.
we can roll it. I still remember the day that I got a call from my cousin Rob. Shout out my cousin Rob, RK. And he goes, Kills, bruh, you watching WCW? I'm like, no, I'm watching Raw. You know I'm watching Raw.
Mm-hmm.
Bruh, you gotta turn on WCW. There's a dude named Goldberg. Bruh, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And so I remember turning on the TV and watching this dude, just seeing a door get hit, watch this dude come out, like, Jesus, people just Goldberg, Goldberg. The sparks come up, he stands there, the sparks go down, the smoke comes out of it. Yeah, I'm just like, the fuck is this dude? He gets in the ring and he just crouches, bruh. He crouches there in the corner. And it's the match he fought Canyon. Iron Canyon came out, two broads, and it was this whole like slow thing. He waved whole time. Goldberg's in the corner, doesn't move and shit. Canyon gets in the ring. Their dad ding ding ding, spear, picks him up, jackhammer, done, wiped out. Who's next? I was like, bruh, who's this? What did I just see? Now I feel like once he got to WWE, like they were only going to let Goldberg get so big.
Mm-hmm.
He was the WCW guy.
Exactly.
That's how I feel.
Well, and that's why Sting never came over because he knew the same thing. He was only going to get so much.
Right. As if like his history in this business didn't mean anything.
Right. The only one that got kind of lucky and escaped that was Booker T, I think, who came over from WCW successfully and got as big as he did.
That, and I think Booker T he played the game, bro.
True.
He got there and was
He knew what was up.
You know how I know? It's because he you have to play the game when it's like, hey, Book, so here's the thing. I'm gonna drop the N-word. You're good with that, right? And Booker's like, yeah, Vince. in front of me and my wife, sure, yeah, and let John. Okay, whatever, Vince.
Right.
Anyway, but
Tangent.
his run in WCW, and a lot of people talk a lot of shit about Goldberg. I don't care. Again, for a dude who loves entrances, his entrance is phenomenal. I don't
Hmm.
care what you say, bro. That's how you come in and that's how you show out, bro. And the move from the combination from spear to jackhammer is just a dope 1-2 combination. The spear to the jackhammer to the pin to the who's next? Just his whole thing, bro. I like Goldberg.
Right.
Goldberg's
Like the spear was enough, but then just to add the jackknife on top of that, just little insult to injury. But like you
for
say,
sure,
overkill is underrated. So why not?
for sure.
I
And
the only thing I kind of regret, I didn't watch WCW's live. I watched WWF at the time,
hmm,
just because I would turn in WCW and I was like, ugh, look at this cheap stuff. Like
yeah,
they still have metal rails. Like, what is this garbage? So, like, I don't know. And I was like, Goldberg, he looks like a broke ass Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, I because he wore the same thing, just bald,
yeah.
had a goatee. I mean, he just didn't drink beer. That was it. So
Shout out Gilbert, bro.
yeah, that yeah, good for him. He had a job. Good for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so I kind of feel deprived. Like I didn't really watch the NWO stuff. But like I mean, I have seen that stuff obviously,
Right.
now, but I just didn't watch it live. I was a WWF kid.
That's another thing we talk about is just the kind of being in the moment of like really rooting for one or the other in the middle of the Monday Night Wars. It's another thing we can touch to because a lot of it's like history and stuff now, but we can speak to being in the middle of our fandom as it was going on.
Yeah.
It was a whole different world. And
What's this last guy you got?
real quick, to the guy that brought me back into wrestling, uh why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to get our wrestling league going again. Once I had always been a fan of Bray Wyatt.
Hmm.
His whole preacher, the Wyatt family holding the lantern, his whole gimmick just I started to think like, bro, like so that part of wrestling is back. Where all of a sudden wrestlers can have powers and wrestlers
Storytelling,
like
yeah.
like we're allowing this now. Like this is really cool. Fast forward to once he introduced the Firefly Funhouse and once he introduced the Fiend, I was like, bruh, like in my brain when I created. So real quick to y'all, Section 8 Wrestling Podcast is the name Section 8 because Section 8 is the name of our wrestling faction inside of our wrestling league that we use the games with. Um, Section 8 comes from the movie Basic. In Basic, John Travolta's little group, their little group that they belong to. It's called Section 8. They're the group you call that they do all the dirty work and can't tell anybody and blah, blah, blah. So that's where all that comes from. I say that to say, inside that faction, I created a character named Crazy K. And once I saw The Fiend, that was kind of my like, oh, this is the kind of reaction I wanted people to feel when they see The Fiend. The Fiend and Bray Wyatt and that whole thing is one of we can debate it all day. It's one of the greatest wrestling concoctions ever created.
We can do a whole episode on him.
Yeah. Bray Wyatt's mind for what, and again, I was looking forward to his final form. The game gives us a little bit
Hmm.
of that whole thing. I won't say it here. If y'all haven't seen it, I'll spoil it on another one because we're against it. If y'all haven't played the game, or if you've played the game, if you want to go look up clips of what Bray Wyatt's next version was going to look like, especially the lantern. Oh my god,
Got it made.
he was different, bro. He was
Ready to
different.
go.
He was different. So Bray Wyatt, just the things he would say, his wrestling style, just him going out and lunging himself at people. Sister Abigail's kiss to the move, and just the fucking the buzzards and just the fireflies. He's got the whole world in his hand. Right down to his last major feud. I like to call it his last major feud. People probably say his last major feud was with Taker, maybe like his last real feud. But I would say his last real feud that resonates today was with John Cena. You go back and you listen to some of the things that Bray Wyatt was telling John Cena in the middle of their thing. What John Cena's done now, it's prophetic, and it just speaks to a lot of the mystique around Bray Wyatt too. So it's real cosmic.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, he like he said, he is the red. He was the red in a sea of black and white. He was that special.
Absolutely. Like I
So
said,
that,
we could do a whole episode on the guy,
yeah, man.
but we are out of time
We're
for
out of time because again, we got stuff to do. Y'all got stuff to do. So we don't want to be here all night. But we appreciate y'all giving us this time. Just little snippets, and we're gonna be coming out other little snippets like this. We're gonna be talking about favorite matches and other sorts of things and all that. We're gonna put this on the YouTubes and the socials. Like Billiam's gonna remind us,
like, comment, subscribe on the bottom.
all the good stuff, and leave some comments if you like what you see so far. You want to hear us talk about something, let us know, and we're gonna talk about it.
So for Section 8 Wrestling Podcast, I'm Billiam.
I am Akili.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
See y'all.